Over the next few weeks, we're going to be learning about some study strategies. The first one we'll be talking about are flashcards. So, why use flashcards to help you study? Flashcards use the process called active recall. This is a process of interacting with information and then retrieving it from your brain. How do we use this active recall? By making our own flashcards. The learning process starts with the making of the flashcards. Struggling with and figuring out what words and images to put on your flashcards starts embedding the information into your brain and is a very important part of your learning. If you use pre-made flashcards or borrow somebody else's flashcards or even use an online flashcard platform, you're losing a big part of the learning that can happen when you create your own. So, what makes a good flashcard? Add pictures. Studies have shown that our minds remember images more easily than they remember words. And when you mix words and pictures together, it becomes even more powerful and you'll remember things better. The weirder your pictures are, the better. Remember that these flashcards are just for you. It doesn't matter if these images or words or sentences make sense to anyone else. As long as it makes sense to you, that's all that matters. One strategy that we can use with flashcards are mnemonic devices. A mnemonic device is anything that helps make a connection between two pieces of information. Again, these only have to make sense to you, so it doesn't matter how weird or silly they might be. This lovely pig here is helping us to remember a mnemonic device for the writing process. Pigs ordinarily don't really eat people. The first letter of each one of those words helps us to remember that the writing process is pre-write, outline, draft, revise, edit, and proofread. You can even make a made-up word out of those first letters, podrep. Find out a little bit more about mnemonic devices. Let's get some help from a friend.
Popular is to make an acronym out of the first letters of the list of words. Like Roy G. Biv stands for the colors of the rainbow. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. Or you can try making a sentence out of the letters. For instance, to remember the planets in our solar system in order of increasing distance from the sun, it's easy to remember, my very educated mother just served us nachos. Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. Of course, when I was a kid, we used to say, my very educated mother just served us 9 pumpkins. Pluto. Sometimes we can use something physical as a mnemonic device. Do you know, off the top of your head, which months have 31 days? I don't, but I have a physical mnemonic device right here. Each knuckle stands for a month with 31 days. The values in between each knuckle have 30, except for February, which has 28. January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. You can always have more than one mnemonic for the same information. There's a little poem I learned about the months. 30 days hath September, April, June, and November. All the others have 31, except for February, all alone. When it's leap year, that's the time. February's days are 29. You see, poems and songs can be mnemonics too. I bet I know the very first mnemonic you learned. The ABC song. Admit it, you still sing it to yourself a little when you're alphabetizing. I do. It's the best mnemonic ever.
What else? Don't forget to keep your flashcards simple. Don't overload your cards with information. It makes it really hard to memorize and to judge what you know. When you put just one word, fact, or piece of information on one card, you're focusing on that information, and when you quiz yourself, it's easier to determine what you know and what you don't know. So, how do you use these flashcards to study? When you quiz yourself by looking at one side of the flashcard, say your answer out loud. This causes you to mentally commit to your answer before you check to make sure that you are right. It lets you know if you really know the information. It also helps to determine whether you're recognizing the information or recalling the information. If you don't say the information out loud and you flip your card over to check and you say, "Oh, yeah, I knew that," that's not recall. That is recognition. You are recognizing that that was the answer. But if you look at the side with the prompt on it and you say your answer out loud and you check the back after you said the answer, then you know that you have that information in your brain. That is recall. Don't forget that flashcards have two sides. Quiz yourself from both directions. This creates connections to the information that works in any direction. If, for example, you are having a vocabulary quiz and you only quiz yourself by looking at the side that has the word, you may not recognize the information in your mind if on your quiz the teacher asks you, "What word matches this definition?" However, if you had used your flashcards to test yourself to come up with the word by reading the definition, then you would have been able to recall that information. So it's important to use both sides of your flashcards. Don't forget, flashcards are just one tool in your study tool belt. Be flexible and use this when it's helpful.